Hi, I'm Gavin. So today we're going to look something a bit different. I'm going to do some film reviews in a bit, do some more film stuff for you. But what I'm going to look at now is sort of the world's sort of very much gone into the world of shooting RAW with video cameras. This is being shot on a camera that shoots RAW, and it's sort of become a big thing. And as you've probably seen in the news recently, Red have been bought by Nikon. Now, this changes a lot of things because obviously Red held the patent for compressed RAW formats, which was holding back the entire industry from creating cameras that could shoot RAW. So obviously deals were done, like the Canon did something so they could shoot RAW. Nikon now, they can do it. And we had B-RAW, which was created for Blackmagic. And then you've also got ProRes RAW, but obviously ProRes RAW can't be implemented in a camera. It can only be implemented in an external recorder. So yeah, you've got all these RAW flavors going around there. But obviously the Red Nikon things, we don't know how that's going to play out. However, obviously it's really, there's tons of cameras out there that allow you to shoot RAW from through the HDMI. So, and there's multiple options to do this. I'm going to look at like a really cheap setup that gives you a really good useful RAW shooting setup. And the camera in question is this one, which is the GH5s. Now, you can pick up a GH5s for about £700 on eBay now. So it's not bad. And the lenses, you just basically need a 12 to 35, and then I think there's a 35-70. So you don't need a huge range of lenses to be able to do it quite affordably. It's not a super expensive setup. Yes, the camera was released in 2018, so it's quite old, but it shoots RAW, and it also has what's called Vlog, which is Panasonic's implementation of logarithmic capture. And Vlog looks great. Basically, Panasonic colours, very cam colours, as it were, really nice. So you've got that, but you can't shoot RAW in the camera. So what you've got two choices with this. You've got the cheap £700 camera that can shoot RAW. You need to buy an external recorder unit. Now, there's two roads to go down, and I've tried both. You can get an Atmos recorder, and an Atmos will allow you to shoot ProRes RAW. Now, if you know anything about this, you've got nightmares happening now because you can't get ProRes RAW into DaVinci Resolve. So that means that you've got a part of your workflow. If you're using Final Cut, fine. If you want to go into DaVinci Resolve, you've got to transcode it. You can transcode it into Cinema DNG with a program by Simulate Scratch. And then you've got a massive amount of DNG files. Then you could get that. But it's like a really sort of convoluted workflow to do something really simple. The other option, the external recorder, is one of these, which is a Blackmagic Video Assist. Now, Blackmagic Video Assist, there's two types. There's a 5 and a 7-inch, and then there's a 3G and a 12G. Only the 12G does what we need it to do. So you need to get a minimum of 5-inch 12G Blackmagic Video Assist, because that allows you to take the raw video feed that comes out of the HDMI on here into the Blackmagic Video Assist and capture B-RAW. And B-RAW is Blackmagic's sort of raw implementation. It's not full RAW, I believe. It's sort of partially debated, but you've got all the controls. And over various firmwares, it's all now caught up. The GH5s with firmware 2.5 and an update on DaVinci Resolve will allow you to have pretty much full control apart from ISO. So you could do white balance and everything, but you can't do ISO. I believe that's some implementation that Blackmagic decided that because everybody mucks around with how they do ISO, they decided not to do it. So you just use exposure and it gives you exactly the same results. So what you can do with the Video Assist is you can shoot B-RAW onto a small SD card or a high-speed SD card, which is a bit more user-friendly than shooting onto an Atmos because you need a hard drive at the back and quite chunky. An Atmos's operating system isn't quite as clever as Blackmagic's. Blackmagic's operating system is universal across their cameras and their devices. So what I'll do, I'll fire up the 12G in a minute. You can just have a look at it and you can see the sort of settings you need to use it. But yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good combination. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the Video Assist quickly and have a look at it, and then literally a quick look at how we link up the GH5s to it. And then I'm going to shoot the end part of this video with my review as such, my final thoughts on that setup. And so you'll see the potentially jump in sort of quality or look as we go between the C70, the Canon footage, and GH5s. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the GH5s, how to get it set up for RAW, connected to a Blackmagic 5G video assist. Then when I come back, that footage will be done on the GH5s shooting to the video assist. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so here's the Lumix. I'm going to turn it on, get it set up for shooting RAW. It's on, and you just need to jump into the menu. There it is. On the top menu here, on this, the motion picture menu, I think it's called, it says HDMI RAW data output. Hit that, hit on. Unable to record to turn memory cards, so you ignore those. Proceed, yes. So now it's pumping out RAW out of the actual HDMI port. It's that simple. And then the other one you might want to do is like Vlog View Assist. So basically you can watch the vlog on the back screen. So it's not like log mode, it's got like a light over the top. And you're pretty much done. I mean, now you've got all your basic settings. I mean, the GH5s is a weird one. I think it's got a base ISO 400 and 2500 because it's got dual gain. However, you look on the internet, it gets really confusing because it's also Vericam's dual gain is 8,000, 800 and 5,000. So have a play. I mean, whatever works best for you. And then obviously you can set your autofocus modes here. And that's fundamentally it, ready to go for RAW. So what we do now is we just pull out an HDMI cable, and that fits in the side here. We've got a full-blown HDMI port. Plug that in, I think you see it there. And that's it. Now, literally ready to shoot RAW. So I'll turn it off and we'll bring the Blackmagic Video Assist in. Let's fire it up. And hopefully you can see that. Now I've got my screen. But it's got no input. So let's get switch the GH5s back on. And at the sides here you've got HDMI in, HDMI out, and 2 SDI ports as well. So I'm just going to plug this into HDMI in, which is the bottom one. Everything will flash. There we go. So now that's putting in the RAW signal directly from the GH5s. And you can see my meters are working over here. You can see the meters have gone through. And that's it. It's literally ready to shoot. So all you need to do is select your codec up the top here. You've got HDMI and SDI in. You can select Blackmagic RAW, ProRes or DNxHR. You've got all the standard Blackmagic things at the bottom here. You've got constant bitrate, constant quality, monitoring. If you've ever used a Blackmagic camera, everything here is the same. There you go, your channels. Setup, LUTs. Now this is nice. The top LUT here, if you can see it, is actually the Vlog to V70. So that's got the inbuilt LUT for the Panasonic cameras. So just touch that. Get rid of that. Now what we need to do is put a card in. Now it can either go in the bottom, there's a USB-C adapter for hard drives, or you can put an SD card, fast one, in the side here. So there you go. So that's in. It's not, I've got it on, let's put it on really low compression because of this. So we put it on 8:1. And I've got 48 minutes on a 128 gig card. So if I press record on the GH5s, you see the little indicators lit up now. The time code at the top's gone red. And basically, it's running. Now just talk about how it's triggered. Switch that off. If you go into the settings again, you've got this page. Now you go non-trigger record, which means you have to press the button on the recorder. You've got video start, which is what I've got it on now because it fires over HDMI, or you could do time code run. So basically, as the time code starts running on there, that's very clever. Obviously, not all cameras have that HDMI control. So the moment this thing detects time code, then all of a sudden you get it running. Now, I've also put apply light and file. That means that on the sidecar of the B-roll, the V-log light is carried over. So there you go. It's immensely simple. You just mount this thing on the top of your camera or wherever, and off you are. You're shooting B-roll and all its varieties. The Lumix outputs 4K 25p DCI, and this just captures it. Just a quick thing on the back of this is why I like this. Basically, on the back of this, still see it, got 2 slots for batteries. So you can get a lot of juice into one of these things. It's really good. And last reason, it's really small and compact. Very robust. Anyway, there you go. GH5s and the Blackmagic 12G Video Assist. Okay, so there you are. That's a quick look around the GH5s and how to hook it up to a Blackmagic Video Assist. Now, something I didn't mention about this, why this is a good route, because you're probably thinking I can get a Blackmagic 4K, I can buy this camera, I need the Blackmagics. They don't have autofocus. And you sort of need it these days, especially when you do these kind of things. You can set focus distance with measurement and stuff like that. But autofocus is like really, really useful in multiple situations. But I mean, none of the Blackmagic cameras have it properly. They have like passive face detection. You punch it and it'll zoom, but it's not that great, but it's not automatic. If you look at cameras like the GH5s, it's got facial detection. Any of the cameras these days that do these raw outputs all have a good level of auto detection, which is something you really need. So I mean, it's a great package. GH5s is, as I said, it came out. I think I said it came out in 2018. It's an older camera. You can pick them up quite cheaply. You can get the Blackmagic Video System, use it with that. And the thing is, obviously, if you're shooting raw, you need to find a workflow that gives you the maximum use of the raw format. And I don't feel personally shooting ProRes raw, putting it into Final Cut X and doing it really gives you the maximum control over raw. I think that DaVinci Resolve is really where you want any kind of raw material, you want to aim to get it into DaVinci Resolve. Obviously, as you know, it's really hard to get processed, but B-raw, this is great. You can bring it in, you can process it. You don't have to do any weird conversions. Even built in, you've got the vlog LUT, you can build into the B-raw sidecar file. So you've got all their stuff, and it's just a better workflow. And then you can maximize what you've shot. So yeah, this is a great little setup. It's not hugely expensive. I think you probably about 1,200 quid. You could probably get the whole rig for, which is probably the same price as one of the newer Fuji or Nikon cameras that gives you the ability to shoot raw anyway. So there's a balancing out there. But obviously, going forwards, the Blackmagic Video Assist will live on. I mean, you always need outside monitoring normally on a camera. Irrespective if you replace the GH5. The thing about the, as I pointed out, the thing about the Blackmagic Video Assist is it's got SDR. So you've got all sorts of options with that. So that will live on even when you've decided to throw your GH5s into the bin. You can buy another camera and you've still got a really good little monitor with a bright screen that can record additional material, and you can use it for all sorts. So yeah, so that's a great little setup. Anyway, so as I said, this has all been shot. This last part of the video has been shot in B-raw on the GH5s. And I'll just dump it straight into Resolve with the other material shot at the beginning of the video, and I can edit it and grade it. It's a really, really simple workflow. Anyway, so if you're looking to buy some kind of cheap raw setup, I'd imagine that's got a simplified workflow on the back end. I really would look at getting, the Blackmagic Video Assist if you really want to shoot raw over a ProRes raw platform, because it's just like, it's a pain. Final Cut X, I mean, I edited Final Cut X all the time, but it's just not where you want to be. You don't have to proxy stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like, to get it into, you can't even get ProRes raw into what's it called? Into Resolve. So it's just less of a pain. Hopefully, I mentioned at the beginning, because Red is now owned by Nikon, they may change the rules behind how you do raw. I mean, that'd be amazing if we could all have some kind of standardized raw type thing. And we could all use that. That would be great. But that's a bit of a dream, isn't it? Anyway, I hope this has been useful, and thanks for watching.